The law of least effort states that when deciding between two options, we will take the one that requires the least amount of energy. So we are wired to use the least amount of energy. So every time we have an option or something to decide upon, we are going to take the one that requires the least amount of friction. And we know what this is like. If we're over at somebody's house and they tell us to sit down and they clean up after dinner, we might just sit down. Why? Because that's the easiest way to go. And so that's how we're wired. We are wired to take the path of least obstacles, the path of least resistance. And we wonder, is that being lazy? Well, it might be conceived as being lazy, but ultimately it's not. It's just the way we're wired. We want to conserve energy because we need to use it probably somewhere else. So we're saving it. And we want to reduce friction. So we're trying to remove all obstacles and all friction all throughout our day. So whenever we run into a situation or a problem, or maybe somebody who's unhappy, what do? If we don't know them, we just move away from them. I had this happen in Arizona. I was at a hotel. Somebody was fighting with the Uber driver and they started punching and they were throwing fists, and it was either, do I stay near that environment or in that environment or move to the other side of the hotel and wait for my taxi. So the law of least resistance and the law of least effort is always there. So you need to realize that everything that you do is going to push you in that direction. It's like having a bent hose. So the hose is bent and you're trying to get something done. You can either turn up the water flow, like crank it up and try to push more water through to get motivated to do something, or you can just unbend the hose. Most people do the latter. They will sit there and wait and fester and procrastinate until the pressure builds up and they keep pumping more and more water. They keep trying to push more through and eventually it bursts instead of just unbending that hose and letting the water flow. So this law of least effort is there all the time. It's in us. It's part of our human nature. We can't avoid it. Now, you might say that you don't take the path of least effort, or you might take the harder path. You may be like me, like a marathon runner. You may run marathons or do challenging things or golf. And, you're saying in your mind right now, no way, I take the harder path. Well, there are some. There's probably 1 or 2% of the world's population that will take the harder way and challenge themselves. And there's a deeper underlying meaning to that. But the case here is that most people will take the path of least resistance. So you can rely on that. So as you're going throughout your day and your business and interacting with people, notice how others are taking that path of least effort, that path of least obstacles. Why? Because the law of least effort is at play here, and they are trying to remove and eliminate and avoid friction and conserve energy. So as you think about what you're doing throughout your day and you set your intentions and you look at your day ahead of you and you're realizing you're going to run into points of friction. There might be points of friction. It might be with your business partners, or it might be with clients, or it might be with your family or your neighbors, or, these are the types of things that can happen. And if you're going to have those points of friction, then you might as well set intentions so that you can move through them without losing your power, losing your energy, because that's what it is. And there's a fear around that. So as an example, let's say you had a meeting and that meeting was going to be very challenging and you don't know what the outcome is going to be and you're hoping for the best, but you're also fearing the worst. Well, the fear is about the fear of not being able to handle it. That's all it is. You're fearing not being able to handle the situation or the outcome or the response that you get, because we do not want to be criticized. We do not want to fail. We fear failure. And we fear that because we can't handle it. We feel that we can't handle it and we don't want to handle it. That's that law of least effort again. So as you go throughout your day and as you set your intentions for your day in the morning, then I would suggest that you look at each situation that you're going to go through, and the ones that are the most difficult, map out a plan for them. Speak how you like it to go. Talk it out or write it out. That way you can get ahead of yourself and you can anticipate a better result and keep your energy. Because otherwise you're going to go into the event you're just going to try something and see how that works, and it may or may not go your way, or may not work out, or you may lose your energy in the end. So the law of least effort is always going to be there, so you might as well use it to your benefit. Set your intention, look forward, and then plan out a way of going through events that are going to be challenging, that might cause some friction, and then you can handle them much better. But like I was saying, the law of least effort, you don't need to let that get a hold of you. You can take steps and take action and get things done. And with accountability, you definitely get things done. And if you always measure backwards, you're always going to see the progress that you've made from yesterday to today, from last week, from this week to last week. You're always going to be seeing the little steps, the little progress, the little incremental benefits that you're getting as a result of you taking those efforts and making those efforts. And if you keep doing that consistently over time, you'll build up mental muscles that will allow you to step forward, make efforts, even when it's challenging. Like doing these videos, you might think, they're pretty easy. But, stand in front of a camera for 10 to 15 minutes and talk about something that you know, or can share examples and experiences about what you know, can be pretty challenging. But what I've done is I just made it easy at first. I just did Facebook Live videos Monday to Friday for about 30 weeks. So I shot 250 videos, and I just kept doing them over and over and over again. And now I can get in front of any camera, anytime, anywhere, and get on any stage in front of any size of audience. I haven't tried to get in front of audiences of tens of thousands of people, but thousands of people, no sweat. Hundreds of people, no sweat. So as you get more familiar with what you're doing, then the law of least effort gets diminished. And you don't have to struggle as hard. You don't have to go against yourself. You don't have to go to war with yourself and your self-doubt and your worry and your fears and self-criticism. You can avoid all that. And it's manageable, but you need to take little steps. And it's always good to have accountability so that you're measuring backwards with an accountability partner, and they can give you some reflection back as to the progress that you're making. Because oftentimes we don't see the progress we're making. We're not very good at that. We'll beat ourselves up before we recognize our progress. I do this every single day. I have a journal that I measure my confidence, my necessity. I measure 6 different categories, and I can be pretty hard on myself in those categories. But if I was to look at it objectively and say, okay, what were the things that I did poorly, or I didn't try really hard at? And I might take 1 point off or something like that. Instead of giving myself a 5, I might give myself a 4. But the law of least effort is going to cause you to, to come up against those types of things and potentially fail occasionally. But failure is normal. And you should bump up the pain of change, and you should bump up failure. Try things. Fail more. Fail often. Fail faster. The faster you fail, the sooner you'll succeed, because you need those contrasting experiences. Once you have that contrast, you've tried something, it didn't work, now you know what to do. It's just like if you know these black and white movies by Buster Keaton. The first half of the movie was him learning and making mistakes. The second half was him applying everything he learned. And it's just the way life works. You have to go and try and make mistakes, go against the law of least effort, do whatever you have to, measure backwards, and then see the progress that you've made, and then the law of least effort gets squashed and diminished, and it's at least the least amount of friction, and you're taking the path of least obstacles, the path of least resistance, and things start to flow in your life. And as things start to flow, you'll be in an attitude of gratitude, and you'll be appreciating the things coming your way instead of getting angry and upset about things. So the law of least effort is there. If you want to learn about it, you can study about it in James Clear's book. He's got a little section on that, a chapter on it, and in Atomic Habits. So you can study that. But you know that you're going to go up against this now that you know about it. So it's there. You can use it to your benefit and make it work for you. So if you like this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell. But otherwise, hope you are having a great day, and we'll speak soon. See you on my next video.